Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the live session. My name is Rachel and I'm the marketing executive at Zik Singapore. Our live session is on the topic of smart factory. So with the concept of personalization, our speaker today, Ethan Goh, will walk you through the journey of smart automation production. Driven by Industry 4.0, this model of interaction promises highly flexible work processes, so maximizing efficiency and productivity. Stay with us to the end to watch the live demonstration by Zik Singapore very own smart factory. If you have wish to receive the card holder as shown on the demo, please scan the QR code that we are going to show on the screen and submit your request, and we will send it to you the personalized gifts. Before we get started, we would like to encourage all of you to raise questions in the chat found on the control panel, and towards the end of the session, we will also open the time for Q&A. So feel free to raise questions along the way. And now, without further ado, I will pass the time over to Ethan.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Good morning, one and all, and welcome to our very special showcase on the Smart Factory from Zik. Just a quick introduction. My name is Ethan. I'm your host this morning, and I'm actually responsible for Industry 4.0 and Industrial Internet of Things Consulting here in Zik, Southeast Asia. I'm very happy to be present here today to bring you through our demonstration and also try to demonstrate to you at the end of the day why we call ourselves Zik Sensor Intelligence. So keep those two words in mind, sensor intelligence. They will come up a few times in this presentation. First of all, before I begin, I would like to let you know that we are going to run a live demonstration of this factory that you see on the screen. And during this demonstration, we would actually like to interact with you as much as possible. So what I would like you to do, if you can, is to take your handphone, scan the QR code, which you can see on the screen there, and do fill up some information that you would like to personalize. We've actually prepared card holders like this one. And what this factory will be doing is that we will be able to personalize these card holders. You can choose a color that you like. We have rose gold, we have electric blue and midnight black, and you can put your names on it. You can submit your request for your customization, and our smart factory will actually create this for you. So please go ahead and do that by scanning the QR code. And then later on, when we have our live demonstration, we will choose one person, the first person who has submitted his personalization. We will choose that person's name and we will put it in the factory and let it run as a demonstration. And you will receive it in the mail after this demonstration. We will send it out to you. So as a quick introduction to our demonstration today, we now know that we are living in a world which is post-COVID-19. It's a new normal that we all have to deal with. And nowadays, the topic of Industry 4.0 and digitalization is not just something which is good to have. It's really essential for all manufacturers and companies if they wish to continue to compete. And that's where Zik is coming from. We really have the expertise of Industry 4.0 across our entire portfolio, be it from collaborative robot solutions, safety intelligence, machine vision and inspection, and even live data analytics on the cloud. We provide all this as part of our services and our products to our customers. And to showcase what we mean by the words sensor intelligence in our name, we've actually brought to you this self-contained smart factory live, which is able to showcase what do we mean by sensor intelligence and what do we mean by smart factories and digitalization. So first of all, what actually makes a factory smart? What does a smart factory mean to us? We think that there are actually three pillars in a smart factory. The first pillar is flexible production. And this means that what you will see in this smart factory is that the production coming out of here is really very high mix and low volume. It's going to be very personalization, very customizable, and really lot size one. So that's the kind of flexible production that we are talking about here. The second pillar is really safe productivity. Yes, and what safe productivity means is that we don't want to cage up the robot. We want the robot to really be free, but at the same time, we want to ensure the safety of humans working near the robots, yet in a way that does not affect productivity, but is actually able to increase the productivity of the operations. And the very last pillar that we think a smart factory stands for is really transparency. Having transparency of the operations, what is going on in the manufacturing process through digitalization, through collecting data from sensors and from other places and visualizing it on a computer system or on a cloud dashboard, for example. We'll go into each of these pillars one by one, and we will showcase, bring you around the smart factory. But before we do that, perhaps let's let the factory do its work one time. Let's go into a live demonstration. And very good, we already have received one, we've already picked one person that we can personalize this card for. And this person has chosen a rose gold card holder. And we'll put, his name is, his or her name is Asman. So we'll put there, we will put that into the system. So allow me to right now go into the system, and what we start with is a configuration screen here where we can actually do the ordering. So you can imagine that this ordering can also be done online, for example, going to a website and then being able to put in the order for what you want to purchase. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to select the rose gold version, and I'll put in here the name. So what's going to happen when I click on start is that the barcode reader, which you can see here, will start to decode the information shown on the screen. And this is just like a ordering system sending the information to the factory. And then this will start the entire process, which I will walk you through. So let's begin. I'm going to click on start now. So with a camera which is mounted on the robot arm, and you can see that happening in real time on the screen, the robot is able to identify correctly the position and the color of the item that we had chosen it to personalize. And now it is actually going to bring it here into the laser printing station from our partner, Videojet. It's doing the printing right now. And if you could see the dashboard, which is coming up on the screen, you will be able to see that as soon as the camera at the top there is checking the quality, we have a live feedback and live visualization of the data on the dashboard that you see over there. And right now the robot is delivering to me the finished goods. And if I come into range of our safety scanner, which you can see is what I'm doing right now, we can see that immediately the robot is stopping. But when I move out of a certain range, where it has actually identified that I am in a near position but not close enough, the robot is actually moving at a reduced speed. So here is the finished goods. Yep, so you can see over here that has been printed here on our card holder, and it is absolutely personalized, as you can see, yeah, from the color that has been chosen as well as the name which is printed on it. So Dr. Asman, we will send this to you. Please expect to receive it very soon in the mail. Okay. So let me go into one by one into the pillars. Do you remember the three pillars that we actually talk about? The first pillar is flexible production, then safe productivity, and finally the transparency. So what about flexible production? Well, we must remember that the robot is blind by itself. It's not able to see or understand or really visualize its surroundings. And therefore, a very good robot vision system or machine vision system is required for the high mix and low volume applications such as this one, especially when we have a flexible product where the parts are always changing, or the recipes and the different components are always changing. This is really very required. And that's what we see here on the side of the robot, is a camera system that we call Plot 2D. Plok2D is a robot localization system which can be very seamlessly and easily connected with the UR robots um, to basically allow the robot to take a snapshot of its surroundings and see what it needs to pick up or where it needs to go. The next vision application that we actually have going on is, if you notice the camera, which is at the top of the black column over there, the black tower, there's actually a camera there. And that camera is doing the application or job of quality inspection, because at the very end of the day, we also need to make sure that the quality of the products coming out from the smart factory is being assured. And we might need applications like optical character recognition, because we must remember characters being sketched on this camera are actually very different from one another. So we need that kind of smart quality inspection. And this is what this camera provides with its OCR label checking capabilities. And finally, of course, you've also seen here our little workhorse, which is checking the barcode. And this is very important to smart production as well. Being able to scan the barcode, be it a 1D barcode or a 2D barcode. In the smart factory, we also need to input and the out later, maybe down the line, there is any quality issues. Next pillar, which I would like to talk about, is the safe productivity. And when we talk about safe productivity, we are looking at the sensors which are here on the table, which are those in yellow color. You can see a laser scanner here, which is scanning to see whether someone is coming into range. So here I'm triggering it. And we also have the light curtain, right? So the light curtain over here, where I'm actually putting my hand in, is detecting that there's a presence of a hand or a finger going into the factory. And this is really, really important because, again, when we are talking about a collaborative robot, we know that the robot is not able to think, it's not able to make any decisions by itself. It will just do the same task that it is programmed to do again and again. And it will not be able also to tell whether the surroundings are safe for it to operate. So a lot of people recommend that when you have a robot, maybe you should use a safety fence and a safety gate. But we find that this is not a productive solution because you would not then be able to have a robot that a human can freely access. So how can we free up our robot? Again, it is a system like you see here, where you have a safety scanner in this system. And this really allows us to approach the robot as the person without needing to open a fence or a gate, without needing to push a stop button. But the robot will know that I am in range due to the safety system, or maybe my finger is going in, and it will actually either slow down or stop. So again, it will not stop and then has to wait for a long time. It will just slow down. It will continue doing its task, but at a slower speed. And this is what we mean by safe productivity, isn't it? That we can, on one hand, protect the humans around the robot, and on the other hand, we can also assure that the productivity is being increased and going on. So really the goals of safe productivity is to free the robot and to create that level of productivity and be able to maintain it. Some people might ask, yes, cobots are safe. So why do I still need a safety system to protect my cobot or protect my human working with a cobot? Well, yes, the cobot is safe, but what about the end effector, or what about the item which the robot is carrying? In some cases, those are not safe, and even contact with a human might cause some hurt and harm. So we want really to avoid that. Well, the very last pillar that we talk about is transparency, isn't it? And how do we actually create transparency? Well, it all really starts from the sensor, because the sensors are little data collectors, and they are collecting data which we can actually collect in our IoT Edge Gateway, which you see over there, the blue box here at the front. This is a IoT Edge Gateway, which is collecting all the various signals and information from the sensors that you see on the factory here. and it is actually putting them into an application that we call OEE, right? So what you can see here on the dashboard is being delivered by this gateway, and it's doing a continuous analytics monitoring and then presentation of this information in a way that you as the customer are able to use it to assure that your process and operation is running in a way which is good and which will assure your business profitability, right? Process efficiency, whether your productivity is increasing or decreasing, and how is your quality doing? Is your quality improving? So why do we want to have this kind of transparency that we can see, for example, on the dashboard here? Well, for one thing, we need to know what we can measure. And when we can measure something, we can work on it to improve it. And also we want to have this kind of decentralized transparency. That means wherever I am in the world, I do not need to be tied to the physical location of this factory. I can turn on my mobile phone and take a look at what is going on in real time. Well, the application that we have in focus here, if I might just talk a little bit about this dashboard, as I mentioned, is the overall equipment effectiveness application. And we are actually doing a measure of how well the manufacturing operation is being utilized. We've also added in some additional components. For example, if you take a look at the dashboard, when I put my hand in front of the safety scanner, it's also taking note of when the safety scanner is being triggered. That means when there is a safety event, and when there's a safety event, it takes note of that in real time, and it's also logging the data so that I know maybe over a period of time, you know, how many times was my production stopped due to safety issues. And this is very useful when I need to do maybe some improvements in the process to reduce this kind of events happening. So again, when we know what's happening, we can be able to take the corrective measures. And once we have taken those, come back to the data that is being collected and to check whether our improvements have any made any changes or made any impact in the data that we are collecting. So going into a little bit more into the OEE, you can see that at the top there, there's a very big circle, 3.45%. So that's the overall effectiveness of our production. And that's based on a number of critical parameters, which are the smaller gauges there at the side. We have the availability. So availability is really the measure of how long this factory or this machine has been up and running. And then we have the measure of performance. So within this amount of time that the factory and the machine is actually running, how much of goods is it producing as compared to our expected level that it should be producing at, and that's performance. And finally, based on what has been produced, the number that has been produced, how many of that number is actually good as opposed to how many are actually failed items. So really talking about the quality metric here. And as you can see, you know, as we are running the factory over and over again, the different gauges here and the different parameters will be changing, and we will be able to really have a live view on how effective this particular factory is. And the benefits that you can expect when you have this kind of transparency is really that you can increase the quality and the throughput of your equipment and of your factory process. And at the same time, as I've shown, by knowing how much time it's actually being spent down due to certain safety events, for example, you can actually reduce that downtime and therefore optimize the productivity of the factory. So I've actually just covered the 3 pillars. Remember, the flexible production, thanks to vision. We also have the safe productivity, thanks to our over here. And finally, we have transparency, which is us a lot of know that we can be your digital solutions partner. So if you are currently working to digitalization and Industry 4.0, or if you know a colleague who is responsible for this, we at SIG, we want to partner with you on your journey from industrial automation to Industry 4.0. And the backbone for all this is the collection of data our sensors are doing. And we are really the experts at collecting data with sensors. And our focus then would be to provide the solution side, where we focus on collecting this data and we present it in a way that you can gain added value for your business. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what we mean by sensor intelligence. We use sensor data with our intelligence in our industrial expertise, with our shop floor sensors, but also with our digital expertise, as you have seen, for example, with a dashboard or in other computer systems that we are able to interface with, we can also provide those services. So I'd like to thank you very much for joining us today on this journey. And as mentioned by the moderator, please take a look at the QR code there on the screen, and you will be able to use your handphone, scan the QR code, and fill out the form to personalize your card holder. And we will make it for you here with the Smart Factory, and you will receive it in your mail. So we will send it out to you. So thank you very much for joining me, and I'll pass this over back to Rachel.
Thank you, Ethan. So thank you for your sharing. Right now, we will be running a poll. Please assist to just maybe answer the poll, and then we will end the session soon. And then also that, as mentioned by Ethan just now, that if you have any, please do continue to scan. The QR code is still on the screen. You can receive your personalized gift from submitting the information there. So while some of you are still attending to the polling question, I would like to just mention that if you wish to receive a copy of this live recording, you can submit that form from this landing page that later Chris will be. Hold on, we will display on the screen right now. Okay, you all can see from the screen that there will be a QR code. You can submit your information online, and then the email address that is provided there, we will send you the live recording links. So just to check if there is any question here that you all want to raise, you all can raise it on the chat. Okay, so if you have no other question, we appreciate having all of you here today. So do remember to submit the. Hold on. There is one question. Is there any limitation for this robot or SIG?
Okay, can you? Yeah, you can hear me, right? So is there any limitation for this robot or SIG? I mean, frankly speaking, we are not too sure what kind of limitation that you are talking about. But in general, of course, we can speak about the general limitations of the robot in terms of, how much weight can it carry, how heavy should the item be. Of course, that's a limitation that you can already find in the specification sheet. And likewise, with certain of our sensors, there are also limitations in terms of the specifications. So you can always check that up in the data sheet. But it's a good question, because one thing we can also address is that when we are collecting all this data and we are then sending it to another level or another system, what I like to call the data floor, that's that's really where we play with the data, we do analysis, we can do predictive algorithms also. At that level, there's really no limitations what we can do with data. And therefore, it's very, very important that you choose the correct partner to take you there. And we here at ZIG would like to let you know that we are the best partner that can partner up together with you to bring you towards Industry 4.0, to really provide for you not just sensors, but provide for you a full digital solution, which is helping to contribute to your business performance as well. So thank you very much for that question. I hope you answered it. But if you haven't, please feel free to chat with me or Rachel. We'll actually be in the chat room at our booth. So please head over there if you'd like to have a personal chat with any one of us or with myself as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Ethan, for answering that question. So you can scan the QR code as well on the screen that will take you to a survey page. You can leave your comment and give us your feedback. And also, as mentioned by Ethan, we will be available on the live chat via the booth. So feel free to come over to speak to us. We will have representatives there to speak to you to discuss further if you have any other question. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate having all of you here today. We will leave the QR code image on for a few minutes, and we hope you enjoy your time with us. We hope to see you again, and we have come to the end of the session. Our next session will start at 3 p.m. So please join us. Thank you, and have a good day ahead.